So I was driving back home one evening, and my wife called me, and she said, "Honey, they're calling in snow. Should we get a hotel in Fairfax?" When some men, I don't want to paint it with a broad brush and say all men, because if I say all men, some of the men here could be offended. And the moment I say some men, it gives them an opportunity to exclude themselves, even if in their own lives they've been more rogue than I've been. So, some men like me, when they hear something that sounds like a challenge, we immediately go to the extreme. So, the moment my wife said snow, I said, "Hey, I lived in New York, I lived in Connecticut, I've seen a lot of snowstorms, don't worry about it." Here's the best part: I lived in New York and in Connecticut in apartments, and I never even owned a shovel. Right? Now, the reason my wife said, "Let's get a hotel in Fairfax," is because on that beautiful day, Friday, in January of 2016, she was 40 weeks and 3 days pregnant. Now, if you don't know what is fully pregnant, you should talk to the moms and the doctors in this room. So I continued to tell my wife, "Hey, we just got a 4x4 SUV, and I've seen those ads on TV where they drive those SUVs on snow mountains." And I also invested in a snow blower. So I said, "What can go wrong? Don't worry about it." And that evening, my wife and I were sitting in the couch watching some TV, eating something, and I peeked out of the window and I saw that it was coming down heavy. I said, "What? For once, these weathermen have been right." And an hour later, I did go out, and the driveway was about 2.5 feet of snow. Then I pulled out the snow blower and started to work with it. But then I discovered the snow blower was good only for a foot of snow, not 2 feet of snow. So I had to pull out the good old shovel, and I worked for a couple of hours, took care of everything on the driveway, everything on the sidewalks, and everything on the neighbor's driveway as well, because they just had a baby 4 months before. So I'm a good neighbor, like Chet and Somina. So, and then went to bed and woke up Saturday morning, looked out of the window. It was coming down even more heavy. It was so heavy that with the drift from the roof, there was more than 3.5 feet of snow, right? People from this area would remember that snow that happened in 2016, the snowmageddon, right? So then I said, "Should I go out and clean it now?" I didn't do it. I waited until midday, and midday I go out. Now there's about 3 feet of snow. I had to work for about 3-4 hours. I was tired. My back was aching. I was super tired, but took care of everything on the driveway and the sidewalks and the neighbor's driveway as well. By night, by nightfall, there was still a lot of snow. And I was not worried that much until that time. But at that point, I was getting a little worried because our hospital, which is in Fairfax, is about 25 miles. It would take 45 minutes on a good day to get there. And I was thinking, did we make the right decision? Anyhow, so I go to bed. I take care of everything that evening, driveway, everything clean. My wife is not one bit worried because at some point I told her, "Don't worry about anything. I have broad shoulders. You can sit on my shoulders and I can take you anywhere." All right. So that's what happens when you try to credentialize yourself with some fake news. Anyhow, so next morning, my wife, like in the movie Paranormal Activity, she was standing by my bed and she woke me up. This was about 8 a.m. or something. She said, honey. I woke up. I said, "Hey, what's up?" She said, "We have to go to the hospital." And this was Sunday morning. And she said, "Hospital?" Immediately, I jumped out of bed like a tiger. I said, "All right, let's go." We got the bag in the car. We got a 4x4. Don't worry about it. I just got ready quickly, went down, and then started to pull the car out of the garage. As I was pulling out, 2 doors down, I saw Kareem working on his driveway. I said, "Come on, man, you've been lazy last 2 days. I've been cleaning the driveway. Everything's good. What's going on?" And then I started pulling out the car, and then a couple of seconds later, the car sunk 2 feet into the snow on the street. I put the car in drive, I put it in manual, I tried everything. The wheels were just spinning and nothing was happening. I got out of the car and looked around. It was just Antarctica. There was no way in hell I would have been able to get out of there. Then I come back into the house to check on my wife and see what she's doing. She's in the bathroom and she's straightening her hair, putting some light makeup on. I looked at her and she looked at me and said, I have to look good in the pictures. I said, okay, all right. She said, everything okay? I said, no, don't worry about it. We got it. We got it. We got a 4x4. Everything is good. We'll take care of everything. I go back down and then I decide, okay, now it's probably the time to actually call that hotel in Fairfax. Just kidding. Now it's time to call 911. So I call 911 and I tell my entire story to this lady. This lady calms me down. She says, sir, let me tell you something. It's going to be a while before we can get anyone out to you. You guys live far west. There's no way that we can get somebody out to you. Hopefully we can get somebody out by midday, but I don't think we can get anybody out. Then she said, hey, bring your wife, set her down on a lazy boy or on a couch. Put a pot of water on the stove and put some steak knives and knives in the pot. This lady was prepping me to deliver the baby all by myself. And then she was also trying to profile me. She asked me, are you a doctor? I said, hey, thank you so much for profiling me. I'm Indian, but I'm not a doctor, engineer. I don't own a 7-Eleven. I don't own a hotel. I don't have a gas station, nothing. I'm just a banker. I'm a sales guy. And she said, okay, don't worry about it. We'll take care of it. I'll give you all the instructions. I'll be on the phone. And then I was actually prepping. I was getting ready. My wife comes down and I said, yeah, just sit down here. I wasn't even telling her as to what I was about to do. Thankfully, not too long after that, my wife was having contractions, but not too long after that, we did actually have the ambulance come out. And then my wife and I walked out, and I did not know that there's a brand new hospital, Stone Springs Hospital, opened 3 days before, just a couple of miles from where we live. And then as we got there, I discovered, or I realized, I saw that the doctor, the ER doctor there, also had a pot on the stove. This story will not be accurate because my 8-year-old daughter, she's going to be watching this video later. This won't be accurate if I didn't tell you the event that happened exactly 9 months before this. The event that happened was a stork landed on our rooftop and delivered a precious package exactly 9 months before that date. And every time I tell the story to friends, my wife has only one question. Where am I in all of this? And I tell her, hey, you are the centerpiece. You are the bonfire. And I'm just dancing around it. That's about it. Thank you so much.